Hi, I'm Rebecca Ransberger, and I am the Assistant Manager of Computers and Media and the Studio Lab Supervisor at Toledo Lucas County Public Library. I have been with the library for 4 years. My focus is to help customers at the library use technology, whether it be creating a resume so that way they can find a job, or whether it be utilizing our 3D printers or using our recording studio. I first became interested in librarianship in high school. Then I went to interview a couple different librarians at Toledo Library, and they were so helpful. They were very excited that I was interested in becoming a librarian, and they gave me all of this information. And as a lifelong learner, to me, that was just such a great fit. The training that I received to be a librarian is a little bit different than the tech training that I received. So I went to college for English and history, and then I went to grad school to study library and information science. And I also have a certificate in community informatics. The training that I received with technology was more on the job training. What was really great about that was that I could rely on my coworkers. They were the biggest assets to me because they knew so much. I also learned from customers. Some of our customers taught me so much about technology. One fun fact about my career is that I get to work with a lot of different artists around Toledo. We have worked with a local artist who's created replicas of Toledo buildings. I've worked with an artist who has used our 3D printers to create QR codes for different murals in downtown Toledo so she can spread awareness about mental health. The advice that I would give to young women that's interested in pursuing a career in STEM is twofold. I think the first is to stay curious and follow that curiosity. And the second is to build a community. Learning independently can be really great. Learning with a community just is so dynamic, and you will learn things in an entirely new way. The biggest thing that I love about STEM is that it has pushed me. I did not enter into librarianship thinking that I would be focusing on technology or makerspace. It's also made me realize that it's okay to fail the first time around, that sometimes you have to give something several good tries. Sometimes you need to bring in someone else who might be an expert. Sometimes you need to call on that friend who has a little bit more experience than you to say, hey, this isn't working. Do you have any ideas? The advice that I would give my 18-year-old self is to be a little bit more open and flexible about what my future could look like. I had a pretty set idea of what I wanted to do in librarianship, um, and that changed drastically over the years. If I wasn't going to be a librarian, my backup plans vary widely. You know, sometimes I want to be a children's book author. Some days I want to start my own garden and address food insecurity. I want to be able to help people, and I want to always be learning. Those are my main priorities, and I think that is what would guide me in a different career. Informal science education is so important that there's this certain freedom about it where you're able to guide your own interests. And I think that as a lifelong learner, that's something that I will always do. My favorite book is by Ingrid Fattel Lee, and it is called Joyful: The Surprising Power of Ordinary Things to Create Extraordinary Happiness. My favorite quote from her book is, "The only requirement is what you already have, an openness to discovering the joy that surrounds you." One piece of advice that I would give to a young girl is to always be open for learning. And I think that's half the fun of finding your path, is that something that starts off as this little spark of curiosity can change your direction if you're open to it.